what sort of reaction have you gotten from doing this work while being a VTuber? Because there is a lot of people I've certainly noticed, at least in my comment section, who have no understanding at all what this is. Someone asked me if Luna was an AI the other day. Um, so yeah, uh,
Yes.
what sort of reaction have you gotten from? Uh, yeah, from generally. Obviously, your streams are very positive. Like, I'm sure you've had the occasional troll shot from time to time, but um, yeah, just how's that sort of gone for you?
So the actual streams, I actually don't really get that many trolls.
Mm.
Like at the beginning, I got a few. I don't think I've had to ban more than like 4 people or something like that.
Wow.
Not counting the porn bots,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah,
are
you get
like
those
interesting.
every
Yeah,
day. Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's just YouTube, but um, yeah. I mean, pretty much. People are very very nice, and I really really appreciate that. And also very helpful, like in my streams, especially when I started working on Rust. Um, I should mention that because like until the Rust part, I was working with things that I was familiar with, Python and C. I'm a Rust newbie, or I was.
And then you became a rush
And
shill.
and like I got so much help from the Rust community, both offline and in the like Zulip, and like directly on my streams from viewers. Developing this whole like object model for the GPU to make it all work reliably and have the memory safety and all that. I had
Hmm.
no idea how to like architect that in Rust. I thought it might be possible, but like I couldn't have done it myself,
Hmm.
not with my Rust knowledge at the time. And so, you know, that was really, really cool.
Hmm.
That I could get all this help from so many people. And even today, people are like, "Oh, you can do this in Rust." Oh, thank you. Yeah. Um, yeah. As far as the comments, I get a lot of really cool comments directly, like over DMs on Twitter, on my YouTube channel. There's a lot of people that, from the very beginning, send me messages like, you know, thank you so much for doing this. You're an inspiration to me, and you inspired me to go into kernel programming or computer science or something like that. And that just makes me really, really happy. So
Hmm.
I really, really appreciate that kind of stuff, and I'm really happy to be getting those kinds of comments.
Hmm.
And then I guess there's hacker news.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so
How can use a fun place?
I think it's kind of interesting that it seems to be very split between people that really don't get it
Hmm.
and people that think it's really cool.
Hmm.
Um, and sort of they always fight it out in the comments every single time. And I don't know. I mean, another thing is that a lot of people seem to like confidently answer questions in like wrongly confidently answer things. Um, because the whole VTubing thing is very different for different people.
Hmm.
Like we each have our own reasons to do it, and it's just a form of self-expression. I think one comment I liked is I don't remember if this was Hacker News or Reddit, but someone mentioned that
Just
it
as
isn't
bad as
really
each
any
other.
different.
Hacker News is just orange Reddit.
Depends on which subreddit. The Rust subreddit is usually pretty nice.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Um,
Go to r slash
but
Linux though and you change your mind.
but anyway, I think that they said it's like this isn't really any different from someone on a forum with an anime avatar.
Hmm.
It's just the equivalent in 2022, and I think that's a good way to put it, right? That it's just the image you choose to represent yourself online, and the name you choose to represent yourself online,
Hmm.
and the way you choose to express yourself, and the reasons for that is might be different for each person, but this isn't new, right? Like people have been adopting different virtual appearances in different ways since the dawn of the internet, pretty much, at least since we had like images. Um, so a lot of people like seem to have this sort of visceral reaction that this is weird and new, and I think that's a good place to think about it from. It's
Hmm.
just like no, we've had this all the time, since the dawn of forums and all that stuff in the late 90s and 2000s.
Hmm.
It's just that now it's animated and on YouTube, and we make videos about it, and that's it. It's not that different.
The only difference is that you have like we've got this tech to do, you know, a the moving 2D images.
Yeah,
But it'd be no different. Like what you do on your streams would be absolutely no different if you just did the exact same thing without a face cam. Like,
yeah. I mean, the actual work would be the same. I
mhm,
think a lot of people really appreciate the like having the a view of the person doing things.
mhm.
Because it makes it more engaging and friendlier.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I credit a lot of that to all those nice messages I get. So I'm really happy doing this. And I think a lot of people also don't understand like why it makes that kind of difference because they're just like, you could just not show your face.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
There is a lot of there's a we could go into a lot of the research that's been done over the years over um why having some sort of avatar, some sort of face cam, something there is just better for making content. Like this is something that is well established at this point. There's no point even having the discussion about whether having just no face cam is better. It's not. Like there's a reason why
Yeah.
every single streamer now has a face cam or does VTubing. It makes for a better content.
Yeah, and it's not just like because some people think about it from the oh you get more engagement and therefore more money or more ad views or whatever or more like people are more interested in the stuff I do because I'm
Mhm.
doing it like this, right? It's getting people interested in computer science. It's getting people interested in computer science and in programming and kernel programming that wouldn't otherwise, and that wouldn't have gotten interested if I were just a face the streamer,
Yeah.
because it wouldn't have been as engaging, right? So
Mhm.
the engagement stuff isn't just about the numbers under the video. It's actually getting people interested in the subject, and so that's why I keep doing it, right? Like I don't actually care about engagement. I don't even know how I ended up with like 17,000 Twitter followers. I
There's
was not expecting
17,000.
that.
Jesus.
I was not expecting that. And like, that's not my goal. But the only thing I can say is that like, as that number goes up, so does the number of people leaving comments like that,
Mhm.
saying that like I helped them, get interested in this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
If that's what this is resulting to, then I'm going to keep doing it because,
Mhm.
that's what I want.
Yeah, just working on reverse engineering GPU drivers is definitely weird enough to get a bit of attention, but it also being done by a cat girl is going to get a bit more attention.
No. Yeah, I mean, the cat ears kind of came later, but
Well, yeah, that's a
um,
new thing. I did notice that you rebranded your Twitter. Actually, wait, that
we'll see how
reminds me of a
long it stays.
hilarious.
But
Oh, that reminds me of a
no,
hilarious thread I
yeah,
saw on Twitter. Hilarious thread I saw on Twitter. So I think it was about the recent stuff about like KD running and things like that. Someone said they're like, "Oh, it's so impressive how much work Asahi Lina has done on this." So no, they said they used the new name you got on Twitter. They said Lina, and someone corrected it under it with like asterisk Lina, and there was like this giant thread just discussing like just the merit of VTubing.
I mean that's part of the fun, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's also you know, sort of it helps break this idea that if you are doing this kind of work, you need to do it in a certain way and be a certain kind of person.
Yeah.
Because you don't, because that has nothing to do with with the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's also why I do this because it's like, well, I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it like this,
Yeah.
and if you want to do something like that too, you can do it too, right? I've seen comments like, well, no one's gonna take you seriously, in technical circles if you are a VTuber, um, and doing it this way and whatever. Well, I mean, I gave a presentation at the Xorg Developers Conference, and the people there took me seriously.
Yeah.
And I've been on
Weren't you
video
also
calls with
didn't you,
like Mesa developers.
didn't you have the witch hat on as well during that one? Or was that a different?
That was the first one, yeah. That was the
Oh no.
surprise for the talk. I rigged it the day before. I'm like a members only stream and spent like 9 hours on it or something, including fixing TTT bugs. And yeah, no, that was the the sort of I mean, that's a joke, but I kept it on the whole month. Because me and Alyssa have the whole kind of sorcery thing, theme going on with this with the GPU reverse engineering. So
Mhm.
we just made the talk theme like that, and I got a hat. It's pretty cute.
It's it moved. I actually haven't watched the talk yet. I didn't realize the thing moved.
Oh yeah. I added the physics. Like the ribbon on the side there has like 6 different chained pendulum nodes. It's pretty cool.
I was just
'Cause
paying
I wrote
attention.
the physics engine for Inner 2D.
Oh, I was just paying attention to the bat. I didn't even I didn't notice the ribbon was moving.
Yeah, the bat like jumps around all over the place.
Mhm. That's awesome. The only reason I asked about the reception you've had, I don't know. Maybe they just like to bother me about whenever I do a video about Asahi Linux. Maybe they just like to bother me about like who you are, because I'm not going to name the person, but I have had a certain disgruntled GPU developer on a certain project who was really bothered by the fact that you'd done all this work and they couldn't find any sort of discernible previous work that you had done. And they're like, how is this a thing that exists? This person has no history. And somehow trying to use that to discredit the work that you've already got. Like, I don't understand.
I mean, I don't know what to, like. I hadn't done any GPU work before this. It's just kind of picked it up as I went. I mean, at least it helped me out a lot. I mean, obviously, like, I mean, I have her on Signal and everything. I mean, we talk a lot. We have calls and stuff. So a lot of people were confused when I started working on this. Or like, what isn't Alyssa working on that? We're working together on the same stuff. I joked on my like intro stream that like it was all reading me and not her. I mean, obviously that was a joke. But we are we've been working together since the beginning.
Mhm.
And yeah, like but I mean, as far as like personally, I didn't have any GPU experience before this. I just kind of picked it up as I went. And the thing is, like, it doesn't really matter, right? Like,
Well, yeah, ultimately what really matters is the work that you've got now.
yeah. And I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, I remember another comment on Reddit. Someone said that I must be like a secret Apple employee working undercover or something like that. It's like I wish.